Guy Mouminoux, sometimes known as Guy Sajer, was born January 13, 1927, in Paris, France. He was the son of a French father and an Alsatian-German mother whose maiden name was Sajer. He was raised in Alsace, which was effectively annexed by Germany in 1940 following the fall of France. According to his autobiographical novel, The Forgotten Soldier, Sajer joined the Wehrmacht in 1942, aged 15. He said, "My parents were country people, born hundreds of miles apart, a distance filled with difficulties. There were two flags for me to honor. I entered the service, dreamed and hoped. I also knew cold and fear in places never seen by Lily Marlene." Guy wrote about his experience on the Eastern Front during World War II in his book, The Forgotten Soldier, published in 1965 under the pseudonym, Guy Sajer. He states that he was a resident of Alsace drafted into the German Wehrmacht at age 16, in 1942. It is believed the author is mistaken on this point as he would have been 15 at this time given that he was born in 1927, and that he fought in the elite Großdeutschland Division during World War II, taking his mother's name so as to blend in better with the Germans in the division. The accuracy and authenticity of the book have been disputed by some historians, who argue that the book is not a completely factual account, but rather a romanticized novel. Some of the details in the book, such as the precise location of the division's insignia, are incorrect, while others are impossible to verify due to the lack of surviving witnesses or official documents, most of which were destroyed during the war, or after it ended. In a later interview, Guy said, "It's a story of a man forced to do things he did not want to do. When Alsace, where I lived, was annexed by Germany, I was 13 years old. From a youth camp in Strasbourg, I moved to a youth camp in Kiel, Germany. We dreamed of being real soldiers. I found myself in the Wehrmacht, the German army. What would you have me do? As a deserter, I would have been shot. We trailed in the mud, we did not sleep and we were afraid, it was terror. But I do not regret anything, I'm glad I knew it, even if it was very hard." After the war, Guy Mouminoux worked extensively in comics published for the Franco-Belgian market under his real name, and also a variety of pseudonyms, like Lahatch, Dimitri Lahatch, and just Dimitri. He made his debut as a comic artist in 1946, working extensively in the 1950s and 1960s for the French magazine, Cause Valence, and its two spin-offs from Catholic publisher Fleurus, creating comics of a mostly historical nature, inspired by his predecessor G.J. For Fleurus, he co-illustrated two educational books together with younger colleague and future French comic great John Giraud, who was also employed at the publisher as comic artist in the period 1956 to 1958. After a couple of early editorial illustrations, he followed John to the publisher Dargaud in the 1960s, where he created several humoristic comics for its magazine Pilot aside from providing additional illustrations for the editorials. He also befriended his earlier role model G.J., and became assistant on the Adventure John Valhoody series. The publication of The Forgotten Soldier, in 1965 brought him success as a writer, but also cost him his job as a comic artist. He said, "It allowed me to live for years. But if I chose to publish my novel under a pseudonym it was precisely not to mix everything. Now everyone knows it's me, but at the time, I was furious. I got fired from Pilot because of that." In May 2000, Mouminoux published a comic book account of the Battle of Kursk, again drawing on his personal experiences in World War II, titled, Kursk, Tormented Akia, under the pen name of Dimitri. Not much is known all about his later life, and Guy Mouminoux died on Tuesday, January 11, 2022, 2 days before his 95th birthday.